good morning, or whatever time of day you happen to see this. This is Earl Purdy with your Course in Miracles lesson for today. And your Course in Miracles lesson for today is lesson 35, which is my mind is part of God's. I am very holy. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy. Now, from a Course in Miracles perspective, one of the definitions that the Course in Miracles gives of the word holy is innocent. So you could say, my mind is part of God's, I am very innocent. My mind is part of God's, I am very holy. It's the same as saying, my mind is part of God's, I am very innocent. Also, God is another name for love in the Course. So you could say, my mind is part of love, I am very innocent. My mind is part of love's, I am very innocent. Or my mind is part of my Creator's, and I am very innocent. Or you could say it the way it's written. My mind is part of God's, I am very holy. Today's idea, my mind is part of God's, I am very holy, doesn't describe the way you see yourself now. That you are very holy and that your mind is part of God's, however, describes what vision or real seeing will show you. It's difficult for anyone who thinks that he is in this world to believe this of himself. Yet the reason a person doesn't believe that they're part of God and innocent in this world is because you don't believe it. You don't see it because you don't believe it. You don't see it because you don't believe it. You will believe that you are part of what you think you are. You will believe that you are part of where you think you are. You will believe that you are part of where you think you are. That's because you surround yourself with the environment you want. You surround yourself with the environment you want. And you want the environment to protect the image of yourself that you have made. The image of yourself that you've made is part of your environment. The image of yourself that you've made is part of your environment. What you see while you believe you are in it is seen through the eyes of the image. Looking through the eyes of the image of yourself is not vision. Looking through the eyes of the self that you made yourself up to be is not vision. Images cannot see. Images cannot see. The idea for today, my mind is part of God's, I am very holy, I am very innocent, presents a very different view of yourself. By establishing your source, God, it establishes your identity, and it describes you as you must really be in truth. We will use a somewhat different kind of application for today's idea, my mind is part of God's, I am very holy, because the emphasis for today is on the perceiver rather than on what you perceive. The emphasis today is on you, the perceiver, rather than what you perceive. For each of the 3 5-minute practice periods today, begin by repeating today's idea to yourself, my mind is part of God's, I am very holy. And then close your eyes and search your mind for the various kinds of descriptive terms in which you see yourself. In other words, include all of the ego, fear-based attributes which you ascribe to yourself, positive or negative, desirable or undesirable, grandiose or debased. All of them are equally unreal. All of them are equally unreal because you do not look upon yourself through the eyes of holiness. You do not look upon yourself through the eyes of innocence. If you are feeling yourself as somehow debased or negative or somehow another undesirable, it means you're not looking at yourself through the eyes of your holiness. You're not looking at yourself through the eyes of your innocence. For in the earlier part of the mind searching period, you will probably emphasize what you consider to be the more negative aspects of your perception of yourself. You may at first focus on what you consider to be the most negative aspects of yourself. Toward the latter part of the exercise period, however, more self-inflating descriptive terms may well cross your mind. Try to recognize that the direction of your fantasies about yourself does not matter. The direction of your fantasies about yourself does not matter. The direction of your fantasies about yourself doesn't matter. Illusions, which are false ideas that we want to be true to the point that we make them true, which is the Course in Miracles definition of illusions. False ideas about ourselves or about something that we want to be true, even if it's not true. Illusions have no direction in reality. Illusions, which are false ideas, are merely not true. A suitable unselected list for applying the idea, my mind is part of God's, I am very holy. The idea for today might be as follows. I see myself as imposed upon. I see myself as depressed. I see myself as failing. I see myself as endangered. I see myself as lacking. I see myself as poor. I see myself as helpless. I see myself as victorious. I see myself as losing out. I see myself as charitable. I see myself as virtuous. You shouldn't think of these terms in an abstract way. They will occur to you as various situations, personalities, and events in which you figure cross your mind. Pick up any specific situation that occurs to you, identify the descriptive term or terms you feel are applicable to your reactions to that situation, and use your feelings toward that situation in applying today's idea, my mind is part of God's, I am very holy. After you have named each one, but my mind is part of God's, I am very holy. I see myself as imposed upon, but my mind is part of God's, I am very innocent. I see myself as depressed or failing or upset, but my mind is part of God's. My mind is part of God's mind. I am very holy. I am very innocent. I am very loved. During the longer practice periods, there will probably be intervals in which nothing specific occurs to you. Do not strain to think up specific things to fill the interval, but merely relax and repeat today's idea slowly. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy. Do not strain to think of any specific things. Just relax and say the idea until something occurs to you. Although nothing that does occur should be omitted from the exercises, nothing should be dug out with effort. Neither force nor discrimination should be used. As often as possible during the day, as often as possible, pick up a specific attribute or attributes you are ascribing to yourself at the time and apply the idea for today to them, adding the idea in the form stated above to each of them. My mind is part of God's, I'm very holy. If nothing particular occurs to you, merely repeat the idea to yourself with your eyes closed. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy. My mind is part of my Creator's mind. I am very innocent. So you think the thoughts that you think, and the thoughts that you think that are not loving thoughts, that don't give you peace, then what you want to do is you just want to think the thoughts that you think, and then after you get through thinking them, say, but my mind is part of God's. I am very holy. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy. Your mind is part of God's mind. You are very holy. Your mind is part of God's mind. You are very, very innocent. So, that's your lesson for today. Forward the videos to friends and associates that you believe would really enjoy them. And check me out at earlpurdy.com. I appreciate you, and I'm sending you love and light. And remember, your mind is part of God's. Your mind is part of God's. And you are very holy. Your mind is part of God's mind. You are very innocent. Your mind is part of God's mind. You are very, very, very powerful. Your mind is part of God's mind. You are very holy.